Hello everyone, my name is Master Steve and welcome back to Hunting Simulator 2. I got a comment the other day asking me to do a tutorial on bow hunting. So here we are today going over how to use a bow and arrow in Hunting Simulator 2. So before we even start the video, I'm just going to say that using a bow requires a lot of practice. The big turnoff for a lot of people is the fact that your arrow drops significantly over a short distance and bows can be super hard to aim. So the goal of this video is to help you understand, how the arrow is going to drop off, what animals a bow is effective against, how you should be using them, what advantages you have, what leniency do you have if you miss, things like that. So this game has 5 or 6 different options for bow hunting. There's not a whole lot of different bows you can use, but you have I think like 4 compound bows, 1 crossbow, and then you just got 1 regular bow and arrow. So what would you use your bow and arrow against? Well, your main targets are going to be medium-sized to small game, and the thing that the bow is absolutely best against, birds. Yes, hear me out on this. Duck hunting with a bow and arrow is the best thing you can do in Hunting Simulator 2. So, as you see on screen, I can kill this mallard and the other one doesn't react at all because a bow makes no noise, and for some reason, ducks don't care if the thing swimming next to them just, randomly dies. So just keep in mind that if you want to fill up your duck license relatively quickly and just make some quick money, bows are a better way to kill ducks than shotguns. So now let's actually get into how to use the bow in general. Your options for bows are your compound bow and then your one regular bow that you see me using. So the compound bows have a sight on them and this one does not. So the issue becomes how do you aim the bow to where you take into account the distance, the drop off, and you still hit your target. Well, here's what you need to know. 50 to 60 yards is generally your ideal range for bow hunting. If you can get closer than 50 or 60, you're doing great, and you should be able to take down the animal relatively easily. Anything beyond 60 yards, it's going to be a pretty difficult shot, and you're going to waste your time if you try taking it. So always try to get as close as possible. Use collars, use your scent killers, and just get in real nice and close. That will benefit you greatly. And another thing is when you're using a bow at a longer range, the projectiles, they have some interesting hit registrations. Sometimes you feel like you are right on the animal, but it is very particular. You'll see shots go between the animal's legs, right over their ear. It's just some weird stuff. So you want to make sure that you're close enough to an animal where it's going to register nicely. Now, as for aiming, if you are under 50 yards, you can pretty much aim your middle sight on a compound bow right at the target, and your arrow is going to have minimal drop off to where you'll hit your target and hit your mark. If you're beyond 50 yards, you need to compensate slightly and aim a little higher, but not by much. So the other thing you need to know about bow hunting is if you miss an arrow on your target, that is okay. Your animal that you're shooting at is not going to react if an arrow goes flying right past their face. You have all day to take down an animal. It is okay to miss shots, and just make sure that if you miss, just kind of take note of, how much did the arrow drop by, what do I need to do to make this shot hit, and just make sure you take all that stuff into account before you fire your next one. So each bow comes with 7 arrows, so you have 7 shots to where you can fire at an animal without it moving, and you have plenty of time to hit your target. It's not a big deal. So that's pretty much how you should be aiming your bow. Just keep in mind the general rule needs to be 50 yards or less. You can aim right at it and be fine. Beyond 50 yards, then you start playing with how high do I need to aim and what's the drop off going to be. Now, where do you practice to get better with a bow? The best spot is Pawnee Meadows. You have, 2 little ponds out there you can go shoot ducks in. If you're looking to do a little duck hunting, you start with that. And then if you want to practice, firing at animals at a longer range, looking at how the drop-off is affected, you have plenty of animals out there all the time, and it's wide open, flat, and you have just awesome opportunities to really practice. So go out to Pawnee Meadows, and that's where I recommend you practice. So one final thing to end this video on is, what is a bow effective against? Well, if it's bigger than a deer, it's probably going to take more than 1 arrow. If it's smaller than a deer, 1 arrow will bring it down nice and easy, and you should have no problems at all. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to Master and Terror Gaming if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.